ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಆತ್ಮೀಯ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ, ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವು ಫ್ರೀ KCET ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ 2020-21 ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರನ್ನು ಸ್ವಾಗತಿಸುತ್ತಾ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ದಿವಸ ನಾನು ಪ್ರಥಮ PUC ಭೌತಶಾಸ್ತ್ರದ 6ನೇ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತ ವರ್ಕ್, ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಮತ್ತು ಪವರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಮೈಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಶ್ರೀ ಮಹೇಶ್ ವಿ ಬಡಿಗೇರ್, ಲೆಕ್ಚರರ್ ಇನ್ ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್, ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ PU ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಮಜಲಟ್ಟಿ, ತಾಲೂಕ್ ಚಿಕ್ಕೋಡಿ, ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ ಬೆಳಗಾವಿ. ಈ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ವರ್ಕ್, ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಮತ್ತು ಪವರ್, ಈ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಕನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮತ್ತು ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗೋಣ. ಮೊದಲಿಗೆ ವರ್ಕ್. ಈ ವರ್ಕ್ ಅನ್ನ ಎರಡು ರೀತಿ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ವರ್ಕ್ ಡನ್ ಬೈ ದ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಂಟ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಬೈ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ದ ಡಾಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಆರ್ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರೈಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್ F into D into cos theta, where F is force and the D is displacement. Theta is angle between the force and the displacement. Sometimes we can calculate work done by using the variable force also. If you want to calculate work done by the variable force, we have the two methods. One is called the method of integration, which is secondary kaltirtara. Second one is nothing but the force and displacement graph, or you can also calculate work done by the variable force by using acceleration and displacement graph if you know the mass. And moreover, SI unit of work done is joule, represented with capital J. Dimensional formula is m to the power 1, L to the power 2, T to the power -2, and no doubt it is a scalar quantity because the dot product of two vector, that is a force and displacement, is a scalar. Another important concept in this chapter is energy. Energy bahಳ ದೊಡ್ಡ term ಇದೆ. So for simplicity we can define in this way: capacity to do work is called energy. ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುವ ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಎಂದು ಕರೆಯುತ್ತೇವೆ. Work and energy both are same, but the main difference between work and energy is whenever there is a work is done, there is a transfer of energy takes place. But whenever there is a energy transfer takes place, there may be or may not be work is done. For example, ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಗೋಡೆಯನ್ನು ತಳ್ತಿರ್ತೀರಾ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಆದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ವರ್ಕ್ ಡನ್ ಆಗಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, because force is there but there is no displacement. Therefore, work done leads to the energy, energy never leads to the work done, maybe or may not be leads to the work done. SI unit of energy same as that of work done, joule. Dimensional formula is same as that of work done, and no doubt energy is also scalar quantity. So in this chapter we are mainly discussing one kind of energy, that is called the mechanical energy. Energy possessed by the body due to its position or the configuration and due to motion is called the mechanical energy. Mechanical energy consisting of the two types of energies. One is called the potential energy, another one is called the kinetic energy. So you'll see what is potential energy and kinetic energy in the next due course of time. Let us move on to the conservative force. What is a conservative force? ಈ ಕನ್ಸರ್ವೇಟಿವ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಎರಡು ರೀತಿಯ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ವರ್ಕ್ ಡನ್ ಬೈ ದ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್ ಎ ರೌಂಡ್ ಟ್ರಿಪ್ is 0, or work done in moving a body from one point to another point depends upon initial and final position of the body and never depends upon path followed by the body. That is called a conservative force. Some of the example for the conservative forces are gravitational force, electrostatic force, and elastic force are conservative nature. And very important here, work done by the force on a system or a body by the conservative force, usually there is a decrease in potential energy or there is a increase in kinetic energy takes place. Second one, day to day life we are dealing with the non-conservative forces. What is a non-conservative force? The work done by the force purely depends upon path followed by the particle, or work done by the force in a round tip is non-venous, never becomes 0, is called non-conservative force. Examples are frictional force, viscous force, or air drag or air resistance itself is nothing but it is a non-conservative in nature. As I told earlier, potential energy Energy possessed by the body due to its position or the configuration is called the potential energy. We have the three types of potential energy. One is called gravitational potential energy, given by the formula U equal to mgh, and electrostatic potential energy given by the formula U equal to Q into V. In the second year, in the second chapter, you will learn. And the third one is elastic potential energy given by the formula U equal to, it is half kx square, where k is nothing but it is the spring constant or the force constant, where x is displacement of the spring from the equilibrium position. Now kinetic energy, energy possessed by the body due to its motion is called the kinetic energy. The formula for kinetic energy is half mv square, or I can write in terms of the linear momentum also, p square divided by 2m, where p is called the linear momentum and m is nothing but it is a mass. There is another important physical quantity in this chapter, that is called the power. The power can be defined as it is the rate of doing work, or the rate at which the work is done is also called the power, or the rate at which energy spent is also called the power. The formula for the power is dot product of force and the velocity. SI unit of power is watt, represented with capital W. Dimensional formula m to the power 1, L to the power 2, t to the power of -3, and no doubt it is a scalar quantity. Therefore, work, energy, and power are all three are scalar quantities. There is another important section in this chapter, that is called the collision. The collision is nothing but here the path of the one particle is affected by the another particle. Maybe physical or maybe the non-physical contact itself is also called the collision. Based on the laws of conservation, the collisions are classified into the two types. One is called elastic collision. In the elastic collision, linear momentum and the kinetic energy both are conserved. In inelastic collision, the linear momentum is conserved, whereas the kinetic energy is not conserved. So this is the sum of the important concepts or ideas or the formulas in case of work, energy, power. So my dear friends, let us move to the some of the model questions. I'll go for the question number 1. Which of the following statement is incorrect? Options are A, work, energy, and power all are scalars. Potential energy may be positive, negative, or 0. Kinetic energy may be 0, positive, or negative. D, change in kinetic energy is equal to the work done. Here, option A, we can eliminate directly. Option D, we can also eliminate directly because it is the statement of work energy theorem. And B, potential energy always measured with respect to a reference point. Above the reference point, it is positive. Below the reference point, it is negative. And exactly on the reference point, it is a 0. Therefore, option A, B, and D all are correct statement, but incorrect statement is kinetic energy, because the reason is the kinetic energy is given by half mv square for a given mass and for a given velocity. The mass is positive and the square of the velocity is positive. Therefore, kinetic energy is positive, never be negative. Therefore, incorrect statement is C. Therefore, option C is the correct here. Question number 2. If W1, W2, and W3 represent the work done in moving a particle from A to B along 3 different paths, 1, 2, and 3 respectively, in the gravitational field of a point mass m, then he has given a diagram. Options are A, W1 is greater than W2 is greater than W3. B, W1 is less than W2 is less than W3. C, W1 is equal to W2 is equal to W3. D, whether it is W2 is greater than W1 or it is greater than W3. In this case, so there is a mass m, we are moving the particle from A to B. Therefore, we are moving in the gravitational field of point mass m. Therefore, here there is a gravitational force is there. Gravitational force is a conservative force. We know that the work done in moving a point mass from one point to object from one point to another point in the gravitational field is always conserved, and moreover it is independent on the path followed by the particle. It depends upon the initial and final position of the particle. Therefore, work done along the path 1 work done along the path 2, work done along the path 3, all are equal. Hence, the proper choice of answer for this question is C. W1 is equal to W2 is equal to W3. Let us move to the question number 3. When a body is thrown up, work done by the gravitational force on the body is, options are A positive, B 0, C negative, D between 0 and the positive. Here, when a body is thrown up, the displacement of the body is in upward direction, whereas the gravitational force is in downward direction. Therefore, the angle between these two is 180 degree. If I calculate work done W is equal to, it is F into D into cos theta. Theta is equal to 180 degree, but cos 180 is -1. Therefore, it becomes minus F into D. Hence, the work done by the gravitational force, in this case, it is negative. Therefore, option C is the proper choice of answer for this question. My dear friends, let us move to the question number 4. The slope of kinetic energy versus position vector gives the rate of change of, option A, work done, option B, force, option C, velocity, option D, linear momentum. So let us check what the slope of kinetic energy versus position vector gives. So the slope is given by the formula, in this case, kinetic energy divided by the position vector. So I'll take the help of dimensional formula. Dimensional formula for energy or the kinetic energy is m L square T to the power -2. Position vector itself is nothing but the dimensions length. Therefore, left with dimensions are m to the power 1, L to the power 1, T to the power of -2. But this is nothing but these are the dimensions of the force. But actually, read the question once again. The slope of kinetic energy versus position vector gives the rate of change of, he has asked the rate of change of, but answer here is the force. We know that from the Newton's second law motion, rate of change of linear momentum itself is force. Therefore, proper choice of answer for this question is linear momentum, which is rate of change of linear momentum itself is force. Therefore, the correct option is not the force, it is D, linear momentum. So ನಿಮಗೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದ್ಸಲ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಡೈಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಡೈಮೆನ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು ನಿಮಗೆ. Otherwise, the questions it will confuse you. Let us move to the question number 5. A body has uniform circular motion. Which of the following quantity of the body will remain same? Here the options are A, velocity, B, linear momentum, C, kinetic energy, D, both the velocity and the linear momentum. So in this case, it is a question about uniform circular motion. In case of uniform circular motion, continuously the direction of the velocity changes, whereas the magnitude of the velocity remains constant. Therefore, option A we can eliminate easily. Due to change in velocity, linear momentum is also changes, because linear momentum is a product of mass and velocity. And option D, both velocity and linear momentum, they also changes. Therefore, we're left with the kinetic energy. Let us see how the kinetic energy remain constant here. Kinetic energy is the product of 1/2 m vector v dot vector v. The dot product of the vector v with vector v itself is a scalar quantity. Therefore, kinetic energy remain constant during uniform circular motion at any point of its path. Therefore, for this question, option C is the proper choice. Let us move to the question number 6. Which of the following is not a conservative force? Yeah, this question is very easily, my dear friends. You can directly give the answer for this one. Option A, B, C, gravitational force, electrostatic force, elastic force, as I discussed in the synopsis. So these are nothing but the conservative force, because work done by these forces during the round trip is 0, and work done is independent on path followed by the particle, whereas in case of frictional force, the frictional force work done depends upon path followed by the particle. Hence, the frictional force is a non-conservative force. Hence, the proper choice of answer for this question is D, frictional force. Let us move to the question number 7. A body is falling freely under the action of a gravity alone in vacuum. Which of the following quantity remain constant during the fall? Options are A, kinetic energy, B, potential energy, C, total mechanical energy, D, total linear momentum. So here, the body is falling freely under the action of gravity alone in vacuum. Which of the following quantity remain constant ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದಾನೆ. In this case, when the body is falling freely, the potential energy of the body goes on decreases, whereas the kinetic energy of the body goes on increases. And moreover, when the body is falling freely under the gravity, continuously there is an increase in velocity takes place. Therefore, linear momentum changes, kinetic energy changes, potential energy changes. But whereas the total mechanical energy never changes, because it is sum of the kinetic and the potential energy at any point on its fall. Therefore, the total mechanical energy remains constant during the fall. Hence, for the question number 7, option C is the proper choice. So let us move to the question number 8. It is an important question, a concept-based question. A proton has a positive charge. If two protons are brought near to one another, the potential energy of the system will. Options are A, increases, B, decreases, C, remain the same, D, equal to its kinetic energy. Here, the protons are positively charged particles. When they brought near, we have to do work against the repulsive force between the two protons. That amount of work done is stored as the potential energy of the system between the two protons. Therefore, here, more is the work done, more is the potential energy stored. Hence, when the two protons are brought nearer to one another, the potential energy of the system goes on increases. Hence, the proper choice of answer for this question is nothing but it is increase in kinetic energy, or the increase in potential energy. That is, the potential energy of the system increases. Option A. Let us move to the question number 9. Once again, it is also deals with the potential energy of the system. The potential energy of the system increases if work is done. Options are: work is done A, on the system by the conservative force, or B, work is done on the system by the non-conservative force, or work is done by the system against a conservative force. Option D, work done by the system against a non-conservative force. So if you look through the potential energy concept here, the potential energy is defined only for the conservative forces, not for the non-conservative forces. Say, for example, work done by the frictional force. In this case, we are moving the block to and fro. The frictional force is nothing but it is a non-conservative force. There is no increase or the decrease in potential energy because we are not moving against the gravity. Therefore, we can eliminate option B as well as option D directly. And regarding about option A and C, let us consider a body is falling freely under the gravity. When a body is falling freely under the gravity, there is a work done on the system by the conservative force. Work done on the body by the conservative force. During that, the potential energy of the body decreases, whereas the kinetic energy of the body increases. Take another example. When a body is thrown upward, at that time, the gravitation force does work on the system, but work done by that system is negative. Or I can say there is a work done by the system against the gravity, or I can say work done by the system against the conservative force. Because when the body is moving, it is moving upward, it is moving against the gravity. Therefore, here in this case, if work is done by the system against a conservative force, at that time, the potential energy of the system increases. Therefore, for this question, option C is the proper choice. ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಕೈನೆಟಿಕ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಯಾವಾಗ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಯಾವಾಗ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಕಟ್ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಇರಬೇಕು. ನಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್, ಇನ್ ದ PUC second year. So the potential energy, once again we are dealing with the potential energy, you should cautious about increase in potential energy, decrease in potential energy, increase or decrease in kinetic energy in case of conservative forces. Okay, now let us move to the next question. Question number 10. Which of the following is not a perfectly inelastic collision? Yes. Options are A, striking of two glass balls. B, a bullet striking a bag of sand. C, an electron captured by a proton. D, a man jumping onto a moving cart. You can answer this question if you know idea about a perfectly inelastic collision. In case of perfectly inelastic collision, before the collision, the two bodies move independently, but after the collision, one body is stick on with another body. Therefore, in case of a bullet striking a bag of sand, it is an example for perfectly inelastic collision, because after the collision, two bodies stick on one another. C, an electron captured by a proton, after the collision, these two particles stick on one another. D, a man jumping onto a moving part, after the collision, these two bodies stick on one another. Whereas option A, striking of two glass balls, after the collision, they move independently. That's why option A is the proper choice for this question. So ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಮತ್ತು ಇನ್ಎಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಕೊಲಿಷನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಕಟ್ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂತ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ, ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಮೂವ್ ಟು ದ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ನಂಬರ್ 11. A body is constrained, that is fixed, to move along plus z axis, that is the positive z axis. He is subjected to a constant force ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ. Vector F equals minus I cap plus 2j cap plus 3k cap Newton. Yes, I need ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ. The work done by this force in moving the body a distance of 4 meter along plus z axis is, options are A, 4 joule, B, 8 joule, C, 12 joule, D, it is 24 joule. Here, as I told earlier, whenever the constant force is given, you can calculate work done by using the dot product of force and displacement. Because in this case, the force is given and the displacement, will find out the displacement. Therefore, I can write here W is equal to vector F dot vector D, where F is the force and D is the displacement. ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ನಾನು ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಬ್ರಾಕೆಟ್ ದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಡಾಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಇರೋದನ್ನ ಬ್ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎನ್ ಆರ್ಡಿನರಿ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್. ಐ ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ ಮೈನಸ್ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ 2j ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ 3k ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ ಡಾಟ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, 4 ಮೀಟರ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ z axis ಇದೆ, 4 ಮೀಟರ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಆಯ್ತು, ಅದನ್ನ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ದಾಗ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. The unit vector in the positive direction of z axis is nothing but it is k cap. Therefore, 4 is magnitude, k cap is a unit vector in the direction of the positive z axis. Therefore, the displacement vector becomes 4k cap. Further here, in case of dot product of the unit vectors, I need not commute with the k, because angle between I and k is 90 degree. The dot product finishes, becomes 0. J never also commute with K because the dot product becomes 0 because A and K are perpendicular to each other. K commutes with K because K dot K, it becomes 1. Therefore, I have to take the product of 3K cap dot 4K cap. Dot product to cross product beginning idea questions and solve. So therefore, 3 into 4, 12. K dot K, of course it is K cap dot K cap. So it becomes 1. Therefore, 3 into 4 waste 12 joule. Therefore, work done by this constant force is 12 joule. Therefore, option C is the proper choice for this question. Let us move on to the question number 12. A force acting on an object varies with the distance x as shown in the figure. Now, it is in a graphical question. The work done by the force in moving the object from x equal to 0 to the x equal to 20 meter is. So in this case, he has given the force and displacement graph. Force is along the y-axis measured in Newton and the distance is along the x-axis measured in meter. No doubt it is in a variable force by the graph. Options are 500 joule, B 1000 joule, C 1500 joule, D it is 2000 joule. So as I told earlier, if the force is variable, we can use the two methods. One is called the method of integration, another is called the graphical method. He has given the graph, so you can better to use the graphical method. You cannot use the integration method because the force expression is not given. That is also important. So you know that in case of work done by the graphical method, area under the force displacement graph gives the work done by the variable force. Here, area consisting the area of triangle as well as the area of rectangle. Area of rectangle is shaded by the yellow color. Area of triangle is shaded by the red color. You can use this formula. Or if you well versed with the trapezium, you can use the trapezium formula. So therefore, work done is given by the area of trapezium. Area of trapezium is nothing but it is 1 upon 2 inside the bracket. It is sum of the two parallel sides into the perpendicular distance between them. Here it is 1 upon 2 into sum of the two parallel sides. Andre one parallel side estide andre idu 20 illide. Innond parallel side estandre idu magnitude idu 10 aitu. So it is 20 plus 10 aitu. Perpendicular distance between these two parallel sides andre idu perpendicular distance illinda tagobodu atha idinu tagondre ಎಷ್ಟು 100 ಆಗ್ತದೆ. Therefore, if you calculate it becomes 3000 divided by 2. So by the division it becomes 1500 joule. So nimage if you are well versed with the trapezium formula, you can calculate work done by using the trapezium formula, or you can calculate by using the area of rectangle, area of triangle. So nimage yavadu convenient agutte aa method anna quick yavadagutte without error aa method anna use ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Therefore, proper choice is 1500 joule. So let us move to the question number 13. When a long spring is stretched by 2 centimeter, its potential energy is U. If the spring is stretched by 10 centimeter, the potential energy in it will be. Options are A 10 U, 10 times of U, B 25 times of U, C it is U divided by 5, D it is 5U. So whenever the long spring is stretched at that time, you can use the potential energy stored in the spring. The expression for the potential energy is half kx square, where k is called the force constant. So for in the two cases we are using the same spring, I'll remove the k here. Hence the potential energy is directly proportional to the x square, where x square is nothing but or x is nothing but here the extension or the elongation of the string from its equilibrium position. Since potential energy directly proportional to x square andre nanu initial to the final potential energy tagotini. Initial divided by final potential is equal to it is xi initial elongation divided by the final elongation square tagotini. Initial extension ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ 2 ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಫೈನಲ್ ಎರಡನೇ ಸಲ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ 10 ಸೆಂಟಿಮೀಟರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ. 2 by 10 ಆಯ್ತು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟೀಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಸೆಂಟಿಮೀಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ, ಎರಡದು ಕೂಡ ಸೆಂಟಿಮೀಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. ನೋ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಗ್ರಾಸ್ಪ್ ಯುವರ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ಫೋರ್ 2 by 10 ಎಷ್ಟಾಯ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ 1 by 5. 2 by 10 1 by 5 ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಇದೆ 1 upon 25 ಆಯ್ತು. ದೇರ್ಫೋರ್ ಫೈನಲ್ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ 25 times of the initial potential energy. That is 25 times of U. Therefore, proper choice of answer for this question is B. It is 25 times of U. So let us move to the question number 14. Two masses of 1 gram and 4 gram are moving with equal linear momenta. The ratio of their kinetic energies is A. 4:1, B. √2:1, C. 1:2, D. 1:16. Here, he has given the two masses of 1 gram and 4 gram are moving with equal linear momentum. We have to compare the kinetic energies. So for the comparison of kinetic energy, all right, kinetic is in terms of linear momentum. We know kinetic energy in terms of linear momentum is given by K equal to it is P square by 2m. Here, since linear momentum is constant, I can write K proportional to 1 upon m. Yeah. Whenever the linear momentum is constant, kinetic energy is inversely proportional to the mass. You should keep this concept in your mind. So to compare with 1 gram with 4 gram, therefore I can write here kinetic energy of 1 gram divided by the kinetic energy of 4 gram. I'll write here it is K2, K1 by K2 is equal to it is m2 by m1 because mass is inversely proportional. I can introduce m2 and m1 values. M2 ಮತ್ತು m1 values and add-on introduce ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. It is 4 by 1. So I can write here K1 by K2 is equal to 4:1. Therefore, kinetic energy of mass 1 gram with respect to 4 gram is that is 4:1. Therefore, proper choice of answer for this question is 4:1. ಇದೇ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ರೀತಿ ಕೇಳೋ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಅಂತಾರೆ, ಸೊ ಅವಾಗ ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಮೂಮೆಂಟಮ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ಕೈನೆಟಿಕ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಮಾಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ಕೈನೆಟಿಕ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಕಂಪ್ಯಾರಿಸನ್ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು. ಕೆಲವೊಂದ್ಸಲ ಮಾಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಇನ್ನೂ ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೂಡ ಕೇಳೋ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಮೂವ್ ಟು ದ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ನಂಬರ್ 15. A body of mass m is falling freely under the gravity. If the velocity is v, then it has lost potential energy equal to u. The mass m can be written as, options are A, u square by v, B, 2u square by v square, C, 2u divided by v square, D, v square by u. Here, the body is falling freely under the action of gravity. ಯಾವುದೋ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದರ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ v ಇದೆ, ಯಾವಾಗ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಆ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ u ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಆ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ u ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಆ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದರ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ v ಇದೆ, ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಅದರದ್ದು ಮಾಸದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಕೇಳಿದಾನೆ. Therefore, this can be solved with the law of conservation of mechanical energy, because when the body is falling freely under the gravity, at that time the potential energy of the body goes on decreases, whereas the kinetic energy of the body goes on increases. Therefore, I can write here loss in potential energy equal to gain in kinetic energy. But he has given what is the loss in potential energy? Loss in potential energy is capital U. And what is the gain in kinetic energy? The kinetic energy itself is nothing but it is 1 upon 2. Mass m is a constant. P square ಬರ್ದಿನಿ. P ಯಾಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅವು ಕರೆಸ್ಪಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಅದರ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅದಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅಥವಾ ಬಾಡಿದು P ಇದೆ. Therefore, U equal to it is 1 upon 2 m into V square ಆಗ್ತದೆ. Or I can write here by the cross multiplication. I can write the formula for m equal to ಎಷ್ಟು ಆಗ್ತದ್ರೆ 2u divided by ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ v square ಆಗ್ತದೆ. Therefore, proper choice of answer for this question is it is 2u divided by v square, that is C is the correct answer. So ನಿಮಗೆ ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂತ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಕನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಈ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂತ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಯು ಗೋ ಥ್ರೂ ಈಚ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್. ಇದೇ ಒಂದೇ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೋತ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಕನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಆ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಂತ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಮೂವ್ ಟು ದ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ನಂಬರ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 16. A bomb of mass 30 kg at rest. It is at rest. Explodes into two pieces of masses 18 kg and 12 kg. 13 kg rest alittu. Explosion aatu. ಎರಡು ಮಾಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್ ಆಯ್ತು 18 kg ಮತ್ತು 12 kg ಅಂತ. The velocity of 18 kg mass is 6 meter per second. The kinetic energy of the other mass is, options are A 524 joule, B 256 joule, C 486 joule, D 324 joule. Here the bomb of mass 30 kg initially at rest explodes into the two pieces of mass 18 kg and 12 kg ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ 18 kg ಮಾಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾನ, ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಮೊಮೆಂಟಮ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಮೊಮೆಂಟಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಸ್ 18 kg P1 ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀನಿ. P1 equal to 18 into 6 because 18 product of mass into velocity 6 meter per second. So 18 6 are ಎಷ್ಟಾದ್ರೆ 108 kg meter per second ಆಯ್ತು. ಈಗ ನನಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿದ್ದು ಕೈನೆಟಿಕ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಆಫ್ ಅದರ್ ಮಾಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 12 kg ಮಾಸದ ಕೈನೆಟಿಕ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ ನನಗೆ. 12 kg ಮಾಸದ ಕೈನೆಟಿಕ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಮೊಮೆಂಟಮ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ನಾನು. So therefore, since during the explosion internal forces are only the responsible, no external force, for that purpose I'll use the law of conservation of linear momentum. Keep it up in mind. When we have to use the law of conservation of linear momentum, we have to use the law of conservation of linear momentum if the forces are internal force. If the forces are external force, at that time we have to use the law of conservation of kinetic energy. Therefore, I can write before explosion, the linear momentum of that 30 kg mass is 0. After the explosion, we have the two particles or we have the two masses. One is 18 kg, I'll call it as linear momentum is P1. And another one is 12 kg, I'll call it as linear momentum of 12 kg mass is P2. So you know the P1 ಬೆಲೆ already ನಾನು ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. Therefore P2 is equal to it is minus P1 ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ minus 108 kg meter per second ಆಯ್ತು. Negative sign indicates that P1 and P2 are they are mean opposite each other. We know the formula for kinetic energy. ನನಗೆ linear momentum of the second mass ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು. ಈಗ ನಾನು ಕೈನೆಟಿಕ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್ ಐ ಯೂಸ್ ದ P square by 2m. ಈಗ P2 ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಅದರೊಳಗೆ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ P2 square divided by 2m2 ಅಂತ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತೀನಿ ಕೈನೆಟಿಕ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ minus 10 bracket square divided by 2 into 12 because mass m2 is 12. Or I can write here minus 108 into minus 108 ಬರ್ಕೊತೀನಿ. Or I can write here minus square ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ 108 into 108. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಕೂತ್ರೆ ಟೈಮ್ ತಗೋತಾ ಇದೆ. Therefore ಡಿನಾಮಿನೇಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಈವನ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಇದೆ, ನ್ಯೂಮರೇಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಈವನ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. 2 1s are 2 54s are 12 1s are 12 9s are 54 into 9 ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರ್ತಂದ್ರೆ 486 ಜೌಲ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. Therefore here the right option is 486 joule. See, let us move to the question number 70. A body of mass number A originally at rest, a nucleus of mass number A originally at rest emits an alpha particle with the speed v. The recoil velocity of the daughter nucleus is option A minus 3 divided by A minus 4, B minus into bracket A plus 4 divided by V, C V divided by A plus 4, D minus 4V divided by A minus 4. Here nucleus of mass number A ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ, originally at rest. So during the alpha decay the forces are only the internal forces. Therefore I can use the law of conservation of linear momentum. Linear momentum before emission is equal to the linear momentum after emission of the alpha particle. Before emission ಏನಾಯ್ತು 0 ಆಯ್ತು linear momentum. After emission we have the two particles, one is called the daughter nucleus, another is called the alpha particle. For that I'll write here P daughter nucleus ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀನಿ, linear momentum of the daughter nucleus plus linear momentum of the alpha particle ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀನಿ. Now we can calculate the linear momentum of the daughter nucleus. A minus 4 ಯಾಕೆ ತಗೋತೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ after the emission of alpha particle the mass number is decreased by 4 units. multiply with Mn is nothing but it is the mass of each nucleon into capital V ಏನು ತಗೋತೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು velocity of daughter nucleus ಅಂತ ತಗೋತೀನಿ plus m alpha is nothing but it is the mass of alpha particle. V it is nothing but it is the velocity of alpha particle as already given. Therefore I can write here capital V is equal to minus m alpha into V divided by bracket a minus 4 outside the bracket mn. So you know that mass of alpha particle is the 4 times of mass of each nucleon. So introduce the value of m alpha as a 4 mn and introduce martini. Therefore I can have V is equal to 4V divided by minus 4V divided by a minus 4 ಆಗ್ತದೆ. Therefore the proper answer for this question is D, that is the required velocity of the daughter nucleus is minus 4V divided by a minus 4. Negative sign ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ alpha particle ಒಂದು ದಿಕ್ಕಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ daughter nucleus ಅದರ opposite ದಿಕ್ಕಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ. So the option D is the proper choice. Question number 18. Two identical balls A and B having the velocities of 0.5 meter per second and minus 0.3 meter per second respectively collide elastically in one dimension. Velocities of B and A after the collision respectively will be velocity of B and A after the collision respectively ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ನಾನು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ after the collision velocity of B ಎಷ್ಟದ ಆಮೇಲೆ velocity of A ಎಷ್ಟದ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. Options are 0.5 meter per second and minus 0.3 meter per second. B ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ minus 0.3 meter per second and 0.5 meter per second ಇರುತ್ತಾ, ಅಥವಾ C ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ 0.3 meter per second and 0.5 meter per second ಇದೆಯಾ, or D minus 0.5 meter per second ಇದೆಯೋ and 0.3 meter per second ಇದೆಯೋ. So here he has already mentioned the two balls are identical and the collision is elastic. So he has given the clue in the question itself is clue. Question alale clue ಇದೆ. And collision is elastic collision and one dimensional. So during if the two balls are identical and the collision is elastic, at that time after the collision they interchange their velocities. That is very important concept. After the collision they interchange their velocities. Therefore velocity of A becomes B and the velocity of B becomes A. Therefore what is the velocity of B? Velocity of B is nothing but it is 0.5 meter per second and velocity of A is nothing but it is minus 0.3 meter per second. Therefore proper choice of this question is that is A, 0.5 meter per second and minus 0.3 meter per second. So ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂತ ನಿಮಗೆ collision ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತೆ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಂಟ್ ಇದೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ನೋ ದಟ್ elastic collision before and after. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಕಲ್ ಬಾಲ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Let us move to the next question, question number 19. A body is initially at rest. It undergoes one-dimensional motion with constant acceleration. The power delivered to it at time t proportional to A root of t, B t, C t raised to 3/2, D it is t square. So here body is initially at rest ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ velocity initial velocity becomes 0 and it undergoes one dimensional motion with a constant acceleration. So therefore initial velocity v naught equal to 0 ಆಯ್ತು, acceleration a equal to ಏನಾಯ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಕೆ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ಕೋತೀನಿ. But he has asked the relation between the power and the time, that is instantaneous power ಮತ್ತು time ರಿಲೇಷನ್ ಕೇಳಿದಾನೆ. Therefore for that purpose I use formula for power. P is equal to ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ F into V ತಗೋತೀನಿ. By using the Newton second law of motion, F can be written as m into A, where m is mass and A is acceleration. So since it is an uniformly accelerated motion, I'll use the first equation of motion V equal to V naught plus AT. So V naught 0 ಇದೆ. Product calculate ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ P equal to m A square into T ಬಂತು, or P proportional to ಏನಾದ್ರೆ T ಆಗ್ತದೆ, because m is constant, A is constant. Therefore the instantaneous power directly proportional to the time. Options is B, proper choice. Question number 20. An electric motor creates a tension of 1500 Newton in hosting a cable and reels at a height of 2 meters per second. The power of the motor is A 25 kilowatt, B 9 kilowatt, C 225 watt, and D it is 90 kilowatt. Here, he has asked the power of the motor. Tension in the sense, the force exerted by the motor is given, it is 4500. And the velocity is 2 meters per second. I can use the product of force and velocity to calculate the power. Therefore, it is 4500 into 2, it gives 9000. 9000 ಹುಡುಕಿದ್ರೆ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಸಿಗುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಆದರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಕಿಲೋವ್ಯಾಟ್ ದಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Therefore, the power P is equal to it is 9 kilowatt, which is option B, proper choice. Let us move to the next question. A particle is projected at an angle of 45 degrees with respect to horizontal with a kinetic energy K. The kinetic energy at highest point is ಅಲ್ಲಿ kinetic energy ಕೇಳಿದಾನೆ. Options are A K by 2 ಅರ್ಧ ಇರ್ತದ, K ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಮನಾಗಿರ್ತದ, 0 ಅಂದ್ರೆ kinetic energy ಇರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ, D it is 1/4 of K, initial kinetic energy. So look here, when an object is projected at an angle of 45 degrees with respect to horizontal, so I'll write here, at initial point the kinetic energy, at the point of projection kinetic energy K equal to, I'll use 1/2 m into V naught square, where V naught is nothing but it is initial velocity of projection. When a body moves to the highest point, at that time the vertical component of the velocity becomes 0, whereas the horizontal component remains as it is. Therefore, at highest point the kinetic energy is nothing but it is due to the horizontal component. So I'll replace that V naught with V naught cos theta naught, where that theta naught itself is nothing but the angle of projection 45 degrees. Therefore, at maximum height it becomes the kinetic energy K dash equal to 1/2 m into it is V naught cos 45 square. So cos 45 is nothing but it is 1/√2. It is V naught divided by √2 bracket square ಆಗ್ತದೆ. So it is 1/2 m V naught square into it is 1/2 ಆಗ್ತದೆ, because 1/√2 square is nothing but 1/2. Therefore, it is half of the initial kinetic energy, that is K by 2 is the proper answer for this question. Okay. ಆತ್ಮೀಯ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ, ವರ್ಕ್ ಪವರ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಐಡಿಯಾಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಮಾತ್ರ ಮಾಡೆಲ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಈ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ನೀವು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಯನ್ನು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ CET ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅನುಕೂಲ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. So therefore, so I'll say good luck for your CET examination. Thank you one and all. Okay, thank you one and all.